This is the PMU Space Community Podcast. Here we have real, honest talk about ups and downs and how to grow as an artist, level up your skills, and build a beauty business that actually lasts. PMU Space is where your progress begins. My name is Oksana Vroda, and these podcast series are recorded for the PMU Space community, created to show the real backstage of success in the PMU industry. Here, top artists share not only their achievements, but also their struggles, so you stay motivated and never give up. I'm excited to welcome today Bianca Festjo, a visionary artist and entrepreneur who transformed her passion for beauty into a global success story. From opening her first salon in Manila to building multiple thriving locations all around the world, Bianca has become a leader in innovation. She's also the founder of NouConceal, a groundbreaking technology that blends advanced color matching with paramedical tattooing. Bianca, welcome to our podcast. And I am really grateful that you could find and you can manage the time to share your super motivating story of success with the PMU artists who also need to know the backstage of this success, because we are all human and I'm pretty sure that everybody goes through ups and downs. So I ask you personally to be very honest today and just share it. How was it? So to warm up a little bit, we have the rapid fire questions game for you.
Ooh,
okay.
I love that.
Stretch marks or scars? What do you prefer to work with?
Stretch marks.
Why?
First of all, that's the first thing that we really started to treat when we started in the industry. And it's just, everybody has scars, but not as much as everybody has stretch marks. And I've seen so many women, and actually I was surprised because I thought when I started doing the treatment, I would get more of the moms already, like those who already have kids as my customers. But then eventually I realized like majority of my customers are actually doesn't have kids yet. And they were so insecure about their body and about, their stretch marks, especially they're single. So they want to look good and feel good. I had this one client. Sorry, can I share this?
Yes, absolutely.
So I had this one client one time, and she, very, very beautiful lady. She's going through college, and she said, I've been suffering with my stretch marks for a really long time since she was a teenager. And she would always look at all of the celebrities online, and they would say, you have to love yourself and like appreciate your body. But then she has like stretch marks all over her back. And she would tell me, but then, I would tell that, and I would look at myself in the mirror every morning and I would say, Dana, that's her name. You're beautiful. You're enough. But then I would go out and people would see my stretch mark because of my clothes, like, in the shoulder, and people would stare at her. And no matter how much she tries to tell herself that she's enough, that she's beautiful, when she gets those looks, it really ruins her self-esteem.
Absolutely.
And when I was able to help her out, and I saw her on her next treatment, and she was so happy. And that's, it just made me feel like, I'm doing something that actually is helpful to people. It's not just for vanity. It's not just to be beautiful, to add to add something that's already a good feature, but you're actually helping people with their insecurities that no one else can help. And that's so beautiful. When they come and then they cry and then they hug me, it's just incredible.
Oh my God, I feel you so much. It's really precious.
Yes.
Okay, let's go. We will talk about it later as well. One word that describes your teaching style.
Love. I really like to, I always try to, obviously I'm not a perfect trainer. I have a lot of flaws, especially in the beginning, right? Even with our products, we have a lot of flaws, and we always try to innovate and to always like listen to feedback. And
this is normal,
yeah. And even with my teaching style, sometimes like even before I would have people like, oh, they didn't like this style. And as a trainer, sometimes you feel like, are you giving your best? But if you're not listening to feedback, you will not know what people really think about it, right? So I always try to come from a a sense of love, so that whatever, like whether if my student is not learning enough, then instead of like, some, I mean, we've been in the industry for a while, right? Some trainers would blame the student. I would always ask myself, like, okay, I want the student to be successful, because she's going to be my living proof that what I'm teaching is good. So how can I, like, I always ask myself, how can I make sure that this person learns the most out of me, from me? And it just comes from love. I love what I do. I love my students. I love sharing my knowledge. I love sharing my technology. And I feel like everything in my life, not just with teaching, everything in my life comes from love.
Guys, thank you so much for watching this podcast. We put our heart and soul into it to make it interesting and motivational for you. Please give us your support, like and follow, so more artists can see it. Thank you in advance. Love ya.
And I feel like everybody that knows me resonates with that. There are some downsides though, because sometimes if you're too much of the love, sometimes people kind of like see that as weakness, or kind of see that as to take advantage. And sometimes I would always go through that process of like giving too much love, and then I realize, and then I'll get betrayed, and I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. But then
People are different. You know, it's an amazing way of teaching, and actually way of living. If we live through love, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your daily must-have ritual?
Prayer. I wake up, before I open my eyes, I cite a prayer. Before I sleep, I cite a prayer. And usually my prayers are just gratitude, like I'm just grateful. I've been through so much in life, and sometimes I would have a lot of challenges even until today. But then I would just look back on where I was a couple of years ago, like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and where I am now. And I'm literally living the dream, my dream. And I'm just so grateful. Like this is my life now, So my prayers, just thank you for everything. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being interviewed by you. This is awesome. Yeah.
Oh, you're amazing. And it's I just feel your energy. It's like, boom.
Thank you.
Grateful, love.
Thank
Amazing.
you.
Instagram or TikTok?
Oh, tough. So I am a very Instagram person, but I also make a lot of money on TikTok.
Give us some numbers.
I launched this product. I was never a fan of TikTok, by the way, in the very beginning. I launched this product for consumer, direct to consumer. It's kind of like just a testing phase. I don't know. I wasn't sure if it's going to work. And we launched it on TikTok, and in just 2 months, we made 150K. So I was like, what? Not doing anything.
So basically on the views or by selling the product?
TikTok shop.
Okay.
Yeah. But I've never been a fan of TikTok. But going back, I would choose Instagram because I'm addicted to Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that like you like to like post things, like show your life? And
I feel
you
like
do it yourself?
Yes, I do myself on Instagram. And I feel like for permanent makeup, Instagram is better because we can really showcase, the aesthetic of what we do. But when it comes to my new business venture, TikTok is
something new,
beneficial.
something like fresh.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Favorite city in the world?
LA.
Oh my God, I just heard so many people saying that they don't like LA.
For real?
Yes, like recently even we've been talking. Why? What's so magic for you?
So I grew up in the Philippines, right? Philippines is amazing. It's like very beautiful. We have so many beautiful beaches, beautiful islands, but it's very hot. And then I've been traveling. I can't even count like the numbers of places I've been to, but when I got to LA, I just felt at home. Like every place that I've been to, I was like, oh, this is nice, this is fun, and like there's so much nightlife, or like it's beautiful, everything is beautiful.
It just aligned with you.
It feels at home, and it's not humid. Even on summer, it still feels. It doesn't get very hot, it doesn't get very cold. Like the perfect weather. You don't sweat. My armpit never sweat, and that's my point. And also, I feel like when you're because I came from a very tropical country, right? So when it's too hot, sometimes it can also affect your mood. And my mood is very important for me. Like my when I wake up, I want it sunny. because it really affects my mood. And in LA, it's always sunny. And contrary to what most people say, because I've spoken with a lot of people just like you, who lives in different states, and they would say like, oh, LA people are like are pretentious and this and that. I never feel that. I just always feel like LA people are so kind and very chill. You know, like you go to some states when it's so busy and they're all hot-headed, but in LA, everything is so, it's not very slow, but it's not very fast. And everywhere you go, especially in restaurants, everybody are just so nice. And every person that I meet are just so welcoming and so nice. So I don't know, maybe I just have like a...
You just, yeah, because it's like your feeling of the place
Correct.
attracts
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I met my husband in LA, so...
Do you live in LA?
I live in LA now, yeah.
Of course, obvious.
Yeah, I love LA.
The bravest thing you've ever done?
Start a business. You know, people doesn't realize that starting a business is people think that, oh, this person is making so much money with this business, I'm just gonna copy. It's that's easy to say, but number one, like taking the leap of faith to actually go and do it, and then maintaining and sustaining that's hard. Because when you have a 9-to-5 job, you just go, you wake up, you go to your work, and then you
don't have all this million of problems going in your head. You just go and work done, go home.
Exactly. But when a lot of people, they think it's easy, but then they start it and like, holy crap, this is hard, because now you have to wear all the hats, right? You have to be the social media manager, you have to be the accounting, everything.
The competition, you need to,
yes, it's
find some other way, something new, something better.
Correct. Yeah. So I think starting a business, that's and also moving to LA. That was like a big step.
Where did you live before?
Manila, Philippines.
I thought you like moved a long time ago, or it was still your first city where you moved long time.
I was traveling a lot a year before I moved to LA, so that's why nobody knows where I live. I'm like I don't even know where I live. Citizen of the world. Yeah, citizen of the world. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go here, whatever. But when I moved to LA, I bought a one-way ticket because I thought, you know what, my business, if I really want to make it, if I want to make it grow, I cannot stay in Asia. I have to be in the US. And I have an American passport, so it just makes more sense, right? When I moved, I only know 2 people that lives in LA. And one of my best friend who encouraged me to move, she actually, I haven't spoken to her for like 11 years. And she's not really my best friend prior to that, but she really accepted me with an open arms and said like, come, move here, live with me.
Aww.
I'll show you. So I've been very, very blessed. She's one, and then the other one is my first ever student. And this first ever student was the one who also encouraged me, like, come here, we'll take care of everything. We're gonna make new, very, very big. And she's still with me until today. We're still working together for new. And since then, it's just exploded. But you know, like just moving to another country, not knowing a lot of people, not knowing what the future will hold. Like, are you gonna make money? The culture.
I know what you're talking about it. I know. Yeah, it's you have to be like super brave for that.
Correct. Yeah. But here we are.
Yes, if we don't do that, you know, we don't grow. Yeah. Challenges make us stronger.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you step out of your comfort zone, that's what makes us stronger.
That's right.
What is your dream client?
Ooh, my dream client. Someone that resonates my personality, which is bubbly and happy and grateful. Because sometimes like I choose my clients. Like I do trainings, and in my trainings, if it's an in-person training, I would make sure I have an interview first. Like I have my sales team, but before, like when they go through the process, the final process is an interview with me, because I want to make sure I get to know you. I want to make sure that our energies are aligned. Like, are you kind? Are you happy? Are you you know, like sometimes you'll know the energy of the person. Like this person
just really not comfortable next, and that's it.
Correct. So if I feel like this person is not going to be the same energy, the same wavelength, and just going to have a negative energy in my class, even if you're willing to pay me, I'm not going to take you, because I need all my students to have that same wavelengths, have that same kind heart, you know, and have that compassion, because I don't like when I train my
You don't need extra stress.
I don't need extra stress, exactly. And I don't want my students to go home and I won't be able to mentor them if they're not going to be, you know, kind to me. I don't need that stress.
Absolutely. Well, it's probably obvious, but still, Asia or America?
Oh my goodness, can I do both? Half and half. It's hard to choose. Like I love Asia. I really like I think if I can go back and just like retire from the US, I would. I really love Asia. But I also love the US. I love it like yeah, I can't decide. I love them both. 50-50.
Okay. Accepted. A book or movie that inspires you?
A book. I don't have a lot of time to read anymore, but I love listening to audiobooks. And audiobooks, they really changed my life. Like I won't be here I am.
Can you name exactly what book like really?
Yeah. So when I started, I was very, very poor. Maybe we can talk about this later. But
Absolutely.
when I started, the very first book that I read that really changed my life was the book by Rhonda Byrne, The Secret. But they published it 2004. So here's the crazy part, right? I was a struggling student. I was a breadwinner, very, very very poor. If you think of poor, I'm poor. And one time, I was in a computer cafe doing my homework, and I came across this video. So I've been telling myself like, oh, Lord, because I was praying a lot. I hope like something will change my life because it's so much struggles, family struggles, everything, right? And I was praying like, there must be some way that I can change my life. And I got too obsessed with the idea that there is a way where I can change my life. And I remember I was visualizing myself having superpowers. Like I would visualize myself, and I don't even know what visualization mean. I was just like daydreaming, like, oh, I have superpowers. I'm playing golf, and just by the use of my brain, I will be able to shoot the ball, to the holes. And I'm like, I don't know where those daydreamings are coming from, but it's just in my head. And then one day, I was in a computer cafe. And I remember I was doing my homework and I had an extra time. So I went to YouTube and started watching videos. And this is back in 2010. And I think YouTube just started there. And I can't remember when they started, but it was very, very new. And then this guy was talking about the power of your mind and how what you say, what comes out from your mouth and what the things that you focus on is what you're going to get. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And he was saying, like, if you want to get something, you have to watch your words that comes in your mouth. And I'm like, this is interesting. So I've been obsessing about that. I don't know what it's called. I don't have enough time or credit to keep on searching for it because I don't have enough money to pay, for the computer. And then one day I remember I was in front of our university. There's a lot of people selling books, like either secondhand or like new books. And I was walking with my classmate. And then I already passed by this book, but then I walked back.
Something pulled you back.
Something pulled me back. And I told my classmate, wait a minute. And then I held the book in my hand and I looked at it. And then my classmate told me that's a good read. And you for anybody listening, just search the book, The Secret. You will not have any idea what it is. And then I held it and it was like, oh, that's a good read. And I was like, is this the book about, what you say or how you think? And it was like, yeah. And I mean, come to think about it, I could have been with someone else. He doesn't have to be there with me. But why did that book kind of like hold me, right? Yeah. And then I asked for the price. It was $10. I have $10 as my allowance for the full week. And I'm like, if I waste this $10, I don't even know how I'm going to go to school the next day. But I didn't care. I said, this is for me. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to read it. I went home. I started reading it. I got obsessed. And I started practicing everything. I was like, I had my dream board, everything. The first, I had my dream board because
so that's working because I've seen million times the secret. Like
it does work. It really, really does work.
It does work, guys.
It does work. And so what I wrote there, what I put there, so it says, oh, you have to buy a magazine. Imagine before it's magazine, like, you can even print. They don't even tell you to print it out. Magazine and look for pictures of things that represents what you want. I wanted to be in a girl group because I was a professional backup dancer in TV, on a TV variety show. And I kind of like The Voice, something like that. So I was like dancing for the stars, And then I wanted to be, I don't want to be a backup dancer anymore. I want to be on stage. I want to be the main. So I wanted to, and I was a big fan of the Pussycat Dolls. So I'm like, okay, I want to have my own group as the Pussycat Dolls. I want to have my first car. And I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to buy my first car. And I want a house and I want a lot of money. I kid you not, after 3 months of practicing this manifestation thing, I got a call from a manager that I met through my dancing career, and he was like, "Hey, I'm putting up a girl group. Would you want to join?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I want to join. I'm in." The girl group was okay. It didn't really push through into like a bigger things, but I met so many people because of that. And I was able to have more projects. And then I started selling beauty products and this and that. So that led to more things. And in 6 months, I bought my first car and everything just started unfolding.
Only 6 months.
On 6th month. And since then, I was just like, until today, I'm still practicing and it's just incredible.
Wow.
I can talk about this all day, but we're not going to go there.
A motto that you live by. What is your motto?
For me, the moral that I live by is it doesn't kill to be kind. I always ask myself, like, okay, how can I want to leave this world. I want to be in my coffin and I want people to be in my, when I die, I want people to say that I've changed their lives. I don't want people to be like, oh, a good thing that she died because she's a bitch or something like that, And I don't know. I just want kindness and love. If that's one thing that I can spread in this world, it's that.
It sounds like you're an angel, like love, kindness, gratitude. It's amazing.
It's hard to be an angel, but we truly try.
And still a businesswoman running a big business.
But I can be a bitch too if somebody is a bitch to me. But I always try to put myself in that person's perspective. For example, if I have a competition, this happens a lot, right? I will have a competition and I will hear somebody, oh, that person said that your product is shit. I never talk about other people's product, especially anything negative. Because again, I believe in energy. The energy that I put out is the energy that I will get back. So if I am living in a state of hatred, in a state of jealousy, that is basically the universe will say, oh, you're not ready for this gift, for this blessing. So I'm not going to give you this blessing. And that's what I live by. So even if someone is angry at me or like saying shit about me, I'm going to still say, I understand. Maybe she's going through something, or maybe, she finds me as a competition. That's completely okay. But I'm not going to give back that energy. It's not for her, but for me. Because if I start doing that, I'm taking away from me, not from that person. That's why I am who I am.
Let's get deeper to who Bianca was before she got so famous.
Yeah.
And have you ever been with this like mindset of being so kind, or maybe like your life made you change the perspective and just tell us?
This is the point where we start crying.
You can cry.
I actually said it in my in the conference yesterday when I spoke, and I said to everyone, when we look at somebody, we always look at them like this is about their success, right? We always look at, oh, she has this and that and that, like this is what she's built, and people think that it's easy, but they don't understand the hard work that you have to put into in order to get
what's behind.
Exactly. So for me, I grew up in very, very poor. My dad was American, that's why I have the passport. My mom, but he got deported when I was very young. So when I was a child, I didn't have my dad with me until I was 8 years old. I was growing up with my mom. My mom was struggling because she's a single mom, and she was like a secretary making like $100 a month,
Wow.
So she would always leave me in the care of my grandparents. My grandfather was a fisherman. My grandmother was a farmer. And my grandfather, he's very strict, very hardworking, very strict. My grandmother was very kind and very giving and very loving. And she's the kind of person who will eat, instead of eating food for herself, she would give it to other people. She would starve herself just to be able to. Maybe that's where I got it.
I just wanted to say.
Yeah, maybe that's where I got it. But then my grandfather, he's very tough. He's very hardworking and very disciplinary. So I think having those two really molded me to the person that I am today. Like I maybe the kindness I got from my grandmother, and the hard work and discipline I got from my grandfather. And I think that's how I live my life. And
did you have any siblings?
I do. So I have, when my dad came back, that's when I had my siblings. My dad, I didn't have any communication with my dad for like 5 years, I thought he was dead. I was told he was dead. But I remember I would pray every night, Lord, I know my dad is not dead. I know you're going to bring him back to me. And one day, I was 8 years old. So I was at school. My mom picked me up. My auntie, my mom called my auntie to pick me up from school. And they said, oh, we're going to McDonald's. And I'm like, as a, that poor, I'm like, oh my God. Actually, it's not McDonald's. We have the Philippine version, which is called Jollibee. And that's like a big thing for kids. And we were like, oh my God, we're going to Jollibee? So, and then we took a taxi ride. I've never been in a taxi ride. And I was like, oh my God,
What's going on?
This is so fancy. Like, why are we so rich? And then we were passing, I think we passed through 3 Jollibees, kind of like the McDonald's. And I was like, wait, why are we passing through so many Jollibees? I thought we're going to Jollibee. Where are we going? Where are we going? And then my auntie whispered, we're going to see your dad. And I have never met my dad. He left when I was 2 years old. And I remember I was in at the entrance of the hotel, and then my mom said, that's your dad. And he was standing in the reception. Oh my God, this is like, I'm making me cry. He was standing at the reception, and I was like hiding at the back of my mom. And I felt like a dream. And I told my mom, can you please pinch me? Because this seems like a dream. And yeah, it's just beautiful. That's when looking back, I realized that's when I started like really embodying the power of prayer. Like if you really believe it and you pray for it, it will happen. So yeah, that's my first happiest moment of my life.
Like, tell us a little bit about your background furthermore. Like, you went to school, you went to university, you said.
Yeah.
What did you study in university, and how did you end up in the beauty?
So funny enough, so I was studying first tourism. I wanted to be a flight attendant.
Okay.
Because in the Philippines, it's like the in job because it pays a lot of money for our country. And it's kind of like prestige. You walk and you like wear this super nice uniform.
Yeah.
You get to travel the world. You get paid a lot of money. And so even when I was a kid, every time are you familiar with the books where you kind of answer your name, who's your crush, and stuff like that. Like, I forgot what
like
it's
in
called.
journals. Something.
Like, yeah. So it always like ask like what is your dream job? I will always say a flight attendant. And so I went to tourism. But I was also very active in dancing and theater, and I'm that person that you always see on stage, And I remember after my first semester, I prayed again and I said, Lord, I don't know if this is the right profession for me. I kind of feel like I need more. But please give me a sign. Should I transfer to mass communication? Because mass communication is where, like in theater, like all my classmates are from mass communication. Can you please give me a sign? I don't know what to do. And I remember I was about to pay my tuition fee and enroll to the class. And in front of me are my classmates in the theater club. And then so I asked them like, hey, so how is it in the mass communication department? And they're like, oh my God, it's amazing. And these are the people that's the most talkative. There's like different departments in universities, right? You have the nursing department. Usually the other departments are the introverts. We are the extroverts. Like you go to our building and it's like so loud. That's when I got really more, I would feel like more into like marketing, advertising and PR and getting yourself out there. And then I remember when I graduated, so I was working, I was a breadwinner. So I would go to school, I would work in the morning in my TV show, and then I would go to school at night. And I remember my teacher, my last professor, I had all my classmates, right? And we would always drink. I wasn't paying a lot of attention in my studies. But I had this teacher, my professor, who saw something in me. And she was like, I hate to see that you're throwing your life away. And I'm like, what? I'm not doing drugs. I'm like, what do you mean? And she was like, you're hanging out with the wrong people. Like after school, you go out and you drink. And then you work the next day. You have so much potential in you. I want to help you hone that. And I was like, okay, what do I do? You have take your master's. And I'm like, take my master's? Like, I need to work, And she was like, don't worry, I will guide you. Go to this university. We have this university called University of the Philippines, where it's a public university, but you have to be bright to get there. Mm-hmm. And I've always wanted to get into that university, but I knew I wasn't that bright. But she told me, no, that's the story you're telling yourself. You are bright. And I want you to see that. So she took me to the university, made me apply. And she said, you're taking your master's degree. And I passed. And I remember in 2 years' time, I finished my master's degree with honors.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God. But you know what I did too? Again, going back to what the secret. I literally would cut out posters saying this is my grade. I have like 1.0 grade is like the highest grade everywhere. And it just works. Because I think it's because you really condition your brain to think positively about yourself. Like, I can do this. Because if you think negatively, I can't do this, then your actions also follow.
Yeah, but it's not easy to think positively when around you, at least at the beginning, you know, you kind of need to break that circle.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. Like I'm very criticizing myself always. Like, I'm never happy with my works. I'm never happy with my body. I'm like I was trying to say like, you're beautiful. And then I'm like, yeah, but to like, let's be real. Let's be honest. Like, you have to lose few pounds, you know, like I'm always being like really into it. So it's hard. It's hard. Like, to be this like positive in this negative world.
It is very, very, I'm not, like, I honestly, it took me a decade to get to where I am today. It is very hard. And I'm not saying that you have to be positive all the time. That's impossible. You're going to fool yourself if you do that. But what's important is that you're positive at least 51% of the time. And what do I mean by positive? Positive and like, if something is happening in your life, always ask yourself, why is this happening? In the positive way. What's the lesson that I have to learn here? Why am I meeting this bitchy person? Maybe there's always a reason why. Mm-hmm. And even with my weight, for example, like I gained so much weight a couple of months ago because me and my husband traveled to Europe. We were not working out. We were drinking all the time. We were eating all the time. And I went back home and I'm like, oh my goodness, I gained so much weight. But every time that happens, when I see myself in the mirror and I'm like, oh, you're fat and everything, I always remember to change my self-talk. No, you're beautiful. No, you're sexy. You love your body. Because what it does to my brain is I would wake up the next day and I'm going to be like, you love your body, right? So you got to work out, right? You got to eat healthier, right? Because
so you switch it to the like, you need to do this and that because you are beautiful.
Exactly.
And you love your body. That's genius.
But it doesn't mean that you always have to. Obviously, you have to also face reality, right? If you're really not happy with what you're seeing, how can you turn it into something positive? You're not happy, so are you going to focus on that, or are you going to say you're not in your ideal, let's say your ideal weight? But guess what? Whose fault is that? It's your fault. Once you understand that you have the power to change your life, then you take back that power to change it.
By the way, we have a full 2-hour webinar with Bianca sharing her real manifestation techniques that change her reality from $100,000 debt to 8 figures business in only 5 years shift on the PMU Space platform.
So the next day you will wake up and be like, okay, you're not happy. Now what? So what are you going to do about it? And that's what I mean by
not just stay unhappy.
Correct. That's what I mean. Yeah. It's not about faking it until you make it. Yeah. It's about, it's okay. You're here right now, but you can change that. And all you got to do to change that is get to work.
Amazing. Now, getting back to your start in PMU.
We're like always like drifting away. We're drifting away. Yeah.
Spiritual.
Yeah. So going back. So what happened is I started really practicing, like having a very healthy mindset. I won't even call it manifestation. It's really about the perfect balance.
How old have you been back then when you were starting?
I was, I think, 20 or 19, around that age. And I remember, so I wanted to be a motivational speaker because I was obsessed with all the self-help books. And again, it's not just about manifestation. Manifestation, I would say, is superficial. You can't just say, oh, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy. If you have to do the work, you have to do the action too. So that's something that I had to learn along the way. And I feel like right now that's where I'm at, where I kind of like learn how to have the perfect.
You know how it works.
Exactly. Not just do the talk, but actually do the work. And so I really wanted to be a motivational speaker, but I knew to get there, I need to prove myself first. How that happened is I had a mentor when I was in college, and I was telling this mentor, oh, I want to be a motivational speaker, because he asked me, now what, Bianca? So now you're free from college, and when you're in college,
you got master's.
Like, yes, and your master's degree. So now what? And I said, I want to be a motivational speaker. And when I said it with all enthusiasm, I'm like, I'm going to be traveling the world, speaking on stage, inspiring people. And then he looked at me and said, but what have you proven? You've only done your master's, but you haven't proven the work. And I was so brokenhearted. In my head, I was like, oh my God, what an asshole, so insecure, this and that, like those all those negative thoughts, like why would you even put me that way? Like, why would you pull me down?
Yeah.
But then I got home and I had self-reflection and I was like, no, he doesn't mean wrong. He actually means right, because he's right. Like, what have I proven in this world for me to have the audacity to tell people, like, I can inspire you? How? Because I've had my master's degree. Anybody can have a master's degree if they want to, but I need to prove myself through my work. So I was like, I wrote down, okay, what do I have to do first? I don't know where to begin. So I had a job in a corporate world, and it was difficult, as you can imagine. I was like, oh, this is fun. But I learned so much. I got to know a lot of people. I learned so much, like what I want in life, what I don't want in life. And then I started doing businesses. I saved a little bit of money. And then I remember I had several businesses that didn't work. So what I did is I sold that business. Can you believe I had a fish pen before? Meaning I was going fish. That's how I started.
So what was your first business?
Selling beauty products. Okay. No, wait, selling coffee.
So it was like a small coffee shop spot?
Yeah, no.
Or like ground coffee?
Coffee for beauty. So there's in the Philippines, it's very popular. Like you have like a coffee to
like coffee scrub and
you drink the coffee.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's kind of
like a green coffee or something.
Yeah, like they put like herbal ingredients that will make you like skin better or like poop better and you lose weight, those kind of things. And then I would buy it and then sell it. And then I came across to selling lightening products, skin brightening products. And then eventually I had my real business, which is the fishing business. And then I realized, wait, I have to wait 1 year to make money off this. This is a long time. So I remember my best friend was the one who told me, why don't you open a salon? I have no idea how to cut hair. I had no idea how to run a beauty business. But she told me...
I love that friend.
Yeah. She was like, oh, apparently it's good business. You can make a lot of money. That's all I needed to hear. I'm like, okay, sell the fish pan and put everything that I made through this business. And it was the best decision I've ever done. So I started with one salon. And I kid you not, we open at 10 a.m. At 9 a.m. people are lining up.
But you did not work yourself there. You hired people.
I hired people, yeah. I in the beginning, I franchised a salon.
Okay.
But I was their most successful franchisee. But it was because of my background in marketing. So I used my background in marketing. And that's what I realized too. You don't need to know the business, like the complete blueprint. You don't need to know the step by step. You just need
That's very different and interesting to hear. So what exactly did you do different to others that made you so successful in that very beginning?
That was 2014, 2015, around that time. At that time, nobody was doing Facebook ads in my country. It was very, very new. So I was the first one to do it. And I would literally have... Right now we're in Miami, right? I would have people coming from LA, from New York, coming to my city because they're seeing my ads. That's how I grew. And in 6 months, I opened the next one and the next one and the next one. I had 6 salons in 5 years. I was running 50 employees.
Wow.
Yeah. However, there's a downside. Pandemic hit. And I lost everything. I lost all my businesses. I lost all my hard-earned money. I ended up with $100,000 debt. But I was doing camouflage tattoo already. So because I was doing that, I was getting a lot of people inquiring from all around the world because I was doing YouTube videos and they would ask me about it. And I was like, wait, maybe I should do this. And so I took my $4,000 left in my bank. I invested in my technology that I have now. And I created my course, and it's just, I never look back.
Talking about your technology, I have a further question about it. It's like really unique in the world. So how did you came up even with this idea? Was it also like visualizing word or how?
Yeah.
It's like it's still unique and you invented it back then.
Yeah. So when I decided I want to teach camouflage tattoo, that was back in 2020. There were very few artists doing.
Where did you learn it then?
I was self-taught in the beginning because there were back in 2015, 2016. That's when I started microblading. But I realized I wasn't really meant for microblading. It was hard for me. And then I was seeing this girl from Hong Kong doing camouflage tattoo. I asked her for the price and she said it's $20,000. And I was like, oh, I don't have $20,000
For the course.
For the course, to train with her. And I was like, that's a lot of money.
Wow.
So what I did was, okay, let me try to figure out if I can do this myself. So because I had so many employees, I would bribe them and I would use the color theory that I learned from my permanent makeup background. I would use that to color match. It was so difficult. But then I started, in the beginning, I wasn't seeing result. It was awful. But I remember it was my partner who told me, you just have to keep practicing. Never give up. If you believe in this,
Were you like blending pigments?
Blending
Tattoo
pigments.
pigments?
PMU pigments.
Okay.
So I was just like, I have the red, I have the yellow, I have the white. I would just match it and I would just create the colors using the color theory background. And I was just, I have no idea if I'm doing it correctly. But eventually, there was this was already in 2018. There's this guy from Brazil. He's not very, very known. He's not, kind of like low key. And then I don't even know if he's still alive because I can't find him anymore online. And then I took his course. And that's when I kind of gave me even more information. And then I combined his technique and my technique. And then going back to your question, sorry, I'm like going further away. Going back to your question about the color reader. One day, when I decided, okay, I want to focus on this. I want to travel the world because there's no one else. There's very, very few people doing it. So I was like, this is my opportunity. This is my opportunity to be invited on stage and speak and whatnot. So I said, okay, I want to be able to do this with this technology. I mean, I don't have the technology yet, but I asked myself, if I want to be a master of this, how can I be different? And then I asked myself again, in order to be different, I need to solve a problem. What is the main problem in camouflage tattoo? And then I realized, the problem is color matching. It's so difficult to color match. And so I got obsessed with, but how am I gonna make that easier? Like maybe I can make like a color theory, like the color wheel, and maybe I can just have like swatches and then print it, but it's so difficult. And then one day, my cat scratched my wall, just during the pandemic, scratched my wall and it's in my bedroom. So I would wake up and I would see that first thing, that my wall is ugly. So I was so stressed out because, it's pandemic, it's locked down, you can't go anywhere, and then you see your wall, it's like, it's stressful.
The first thing in the morning?
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't want to see this. So I went online, I searched like, how can and I also don't have enough money to paint my whole wall. I can't do that. So I searched online and I was like, how can I choose a paint just for that specific area? And then I came across this product called Pantone. So basically it's a device that they use for architects. And they have a device, you put it on the paint, on the wall, and then it tells you the color value of the wall. And then you go to the paint shop and you tell them, I want Pantone number ... And I was like, ding, 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 ding. If they can do it for paint, why can't we do it for skin? And so I have this friend who's an app developer. We were like, I spoke with him like, hey, can you please help me figure this out? Like, how can I do this? And I'm not even kidding. When our very first app version looks very, very bad. Like you go in there's one button. It's just a plus sign. And you're like, what is this? Like you have no idea. You have to really train somebody to use it. But every money that I make from NouConceal, I reinvest until we got
improve.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You just keep on improving. And now here we are. So my cat, I owe everything for my cat.
Is your cat still alive?
She's still alive, yes.
She's probably wearing a crown.
Yes, she's very, very well
privileged.
Very, very well taken care of. I'm grateful to my cat.
So going back to pandemic times, so it actually kicked you out of your businesses and you lost your salons and stayed in a big debt, and the less money you invested in this new camouflage thing.
Yeah.
What was next?
So I was getting, in the beginning, before I even launched my product, I already had 2 people inquiring. They're waiting for the product to be launched. So I was like, wait a minute. And then finally I launched it. They bought it. But after I launched it, crickets. Nobody was enrolling anymore. And then it took, I think, 3 months for like me constantly talking about it on YouTube until somebody like I started getting traction. And then I met this lady from Australia, and she said, hey, can you come here and do a training? And that's when we started kind of like, I remember my business partner, he was like, if you really want to make this big, it's now. You have to go to the US because here we're limited. We're limited of the amount of people that we can train and the budget of people, right? So if you want to go international, you have to go. So that's when I met my student, and she helped me, and she's now a very, very close friend of mine.
What year was it?
2022.
2022.
Very recent, yeah. 2022, yeah, and that's 23, that's 3 years ago when you think about it.
So in 2022, you moved to the States.
Yes.
And you were like super brand new here.
Yeah.
How did you manage to stand out? Like, what did you do? Like, step by step.
All right. Yeah, good question. So in the beginning, I was doing in-person classes. I would just post. Surprisingly, I don't know how it happened, but surprisingly, we had some people who are already following us. I guess maybe because we're posting a lot on an Instagram account. So everything was organic in the beginning. Like we announced that we have a training here, and people would enroll. And then I met another incredible trainer who from San Diego. Her name is Chanel, and she worked with me. And I had a lot of people who wanted to be a trainer with me, and so we kind of like had an agreement like, okay, let's make this big together, and we worked together and like making it big. So I honestly owe it to them, who helped me like really make this company explode. And I have this other girl, Quinn, who's my first student, and she was the one who told me like, you have to do shows, you have to do conferences. And in the beginning, our first ever conference was not very good because it was a mistake, because it was an aesthetic show. It wasn't a PMU show. But
where was it?
In Vegas.
Okay.
It was a cosmetic show, but it's a cosmetic show where people who buys product to sell on like Amazon, on those
like
kind of
wholesale.
Yeah. So and we were like, no, this is not the show
the audience,
for us.
yeah.
But we got a lot of people interested. But they all told me, once you have the product that we can sell in Amazon, please contact us back. So I'm like, but it gave me hope, like, okay, we have something here.
Yeah, people get interested.
Yeah. And I remember my first ever conference. Not first ever, but my first ever big conference was the one in the Vegas PMU conference. Mm-hmm. I was there as a vendor.
What year was it?
I think 2023, 2022. I'm not sure. Either 2022 or 2023. And then I was there as a vendor, and I wasn't even a speaker. And honestly, I was a nobody. I wasn't like nobody. Like even nobody knows me. But we made a little bit of sales, and at the time, that sales was big for me. And so I was like, oh, we have to come back here next year. So I made it my goal to have a lot of like small conferences to kind of build my reputation. And even if it's just like 50 people, 20 people, I would go there because I want to build my credibility. And when I went back to PMU Vegas, I'm like, hey, is it, maybe I can speak? And they accepted me. Yeah. So, and then after that, we have the PMU World 2023. And that really also gave me a lot of traction. And since then, I'm just there every year.
So like back into 2022, 2023, what was your like income in terms of like sales?
When I started, I would say maybe 2021, it was $350,000. I can't say the exact figures, but I can tell you like the progression. Mm-hmm. On 2022, I think, 2020, I can't remember if it's 2022 or 2023 where I made my first 7 figures. And this year, I don't like talking about this because I feel like, I don't want people to think I'm bragging or anything. But this year, I'm going to say it anyway because you asked me. But this year, we started venturing out, not just in PMU, we started venturing out on the medical field. So now our valuation is in the 8 figures. I just got that valuation this month.
Congratulations. But where was this like switch point where from the last $4,000 and the $100,000 in debt, you could manage to grow to like 350 in 2021?
Good question. So I was in $100,000 debt, right, in 2020. And I remember I would wake up every day, like really feeling defeated. I was like crying and depressed. I don't have a business. I felt like, I've come from nothing and I built this beautiful business and then my salon. And I was like a rising star in the Philippines in the salon industry. Like everybody know. I would go to a bank because I always do ads, right? So they would always see my face. I would go to a bank, and my salon's name is Bianca Festjo. So everybody
They
knows.
already know your name.
Yeah.
I have something exclusive for you here. Are you a PMU artist in your first few years trying to figure it all out? Or maybe you're an established artist looking to be a part of a supportive community that actually gets it? Or maybe you're already in the beauty industry, thinking about getting into permanent makeup, but not sure if it's the right fit. PMU Space gives you a real look at what it takes, the techniques, the struggles, the breakthroughs, and the business side too. It's your opportunity to explore the world of PMU and decide if it's truly for you. It's a growing support system packed with real advice, live sessions with top artists, and the community that talks openly about what's really happening behind the scenes. Whether you're building your skills, exploring the path, or just looking for your people, PMU Space is where the progress begins. Click the link below or scan the QR code and start exploring PMU Space community today. Your journey begins now.
And then when they see my name, they're like, you own the salon and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. And then, wait, what was your question? I kind of lost my train
Where
of
was
thought.
this switch? When
Okay,
you...
so I had $100,000 debt. And I remember everything is taken away from you, right? And I was crying, I was going through depression. And then I realized, going back to my mindset, I realized one day I woke up and I'm like, I'm focusing on the negative. I know this is a situation I cannot control, but I'm letting that eat me alive. And I've done it before. I've proven that I can make it. Coming from literally nothing, I managed to build something. What more now that I've already proven? Like my brain is already stretched, right? I already know what to do. So all I have to do is get back that Bianca that used to be positive, that used to be happy. So I went online, went on YouTube, and I searched, how can I manifest paying my $100,000 debt?
Remember this phrase and Google it.
Yeah, and then I saw this girl, and she honestly, this girl changed my life. She was like, first of all, you have to be grateful for your debt. Ask yourself, when you needed the money.
It's not easy to be grateful for
It's
your
not
debt.
easy. It's not easy. Yeah, it is. So when I was looking and when I was watching, I'm like, what? How the heck am I going to be talking about? What are you talking? Why would I be great? What? Because you know what? After the lockdown, after 3 months, banks keep calling, and they're like, hey, you gotta pay every single day. I don't want to look at my phone. I just want to cry in bed. And so when I was watching this, and she was like, you have to be grateful for your dad because when you needed the money, somebody like a bank entrusted you with that money. When you had an emergency, you had money that you were able to get, to find. And so I was like, you know what? It is kind of true. The banks entrusted money to me, even though they're the ones annoying me right now, paying me to pay, ask me to pay. But yes, it's true that they were there. They entrusted me with the money. And so the next day, I woke up and I said, I'm grateful for my dad. I was crying because I'm like, it's so hard to say something and
You
you
felt it with the bottom of your heart.
Exactly. But I would say that's the first thing I would say every day. I'm grateful for my dad because when I needed the money, it was there. Every day. The first day, I was crying. I didn't believe it. Second day, I was crying. I didn't believe it. Third day, I started feeling neutral about it. Like, okay, maybe, I started feeling better. Fourth day, I started feeling happier and I started getting out of my depression state. Fifth day, I started feeling like more energetic and my mind is clearer. Sixth day and seventh day, so I had this classmate from college, Chinese classmate, and we kind of had a pact. We made a promise that if any of us make it in life, because we were both very poor, but if any one of us made it in life, we're going to reach back to one another and communicate again because we haven't communicated for a long time. We're gonna communicate again once we've made it, and we will try to help the other person. And so he's made his money. I've made my money, but I lost it all. But he still has a lot of money. But before the pandemic, he invested, I believe, $400,000, if I remember it correctly, $400,000 to me to open more salons. But we lost all those investments because one salon just opened a couple of months before the pandemic. The other salon was fully renovated and we were supposed to launch and open on March 2020. So what can you do? So this person, but we were we've known each other for a long time, So he called me and we were just like chatting on what's going on in life and blah, blah, blah. And I told him, I actually made a mistake because I had a loan in the Philippines, a business loan, and they tell you like 7%, 6%, but when you calculate, you actually pay double the amount of what you've loaned. And he told me, well, next time you need a loan, tell me I'll loan for you from Korea, because he lives in Korea, because it's only 1%. And just jokingly, I said, well, why don't you loan for me now? And he said, all right, how much do you need? And I literally fell off my seat. And I was like, wait, are you joking? Because this person just invested $400,000. We haven't made that money back. And now you want to lend me money? Are you crazy? And he was like, yeah, of course. Like, well, how much do you need? And I said, like, $100,000. And he said, okay, I'll loan for you and I'll get it in 2 weeks. Obviously, I wasn't able, I still had a debt, but that allowed me to what's like kind of like in remortgage, something like that,
Like restructure your
restructure
debt.
my debt. So instead of paying, like right now I need to have that $100,000. Right now you only need $50,000 a month, $1,000 a month. And that really helped me like get back to my mental state and be in the better position in life and focus on my business, because now I have less stress. And
So that helps you to get the wheel going.
Correct. Yeah. And that's why that's why I always like really believe in like being grateful. And even if things are happening that's not good in your life right now, like don't focus on that negativity, because that's what you're going to get more of.
Can you say that was like the most challenging moment in your career, or there was something else?
It's one thing when you're born poor and you're struggling because you've been born poor and you've been living your life that way. But it's another difficulty when you finally made it and lost everything again. That's a different kind of failure and different kind of defeat. But I felt like now looking back, I needed that defeat because I was getting complacent with what I have. I was getting, oh, this is awesome. I was just like content. But I needed that kick from God. Like, no, this is not where you're supposed to be. You're meant for this world, for something bigger. So that's when I really believe now when one door closes, it's not because God wants you to suffer. It's just because you're being placed into something, there's something
You
better
need a different
for you.
direction.
Yeah. Just like having a heartbreak.
So now you have a huge company. Do you give like licenses, like franchisee or something? Like tell us how your system works, like how your business works now. What do you do?
So we do train people how to use our products. We don't charge for licensing. They could just really train and then they can use our products. We also have trainers. So most of our students, once they become in a certain level, they can apply to become trainers. And we actually have like really, really, I would say majority of our trainers that we have right now, they're very successful.
Do you know the numbers? How many trainers you have?
Oh, so last year, I'm gonna be emotional on this one. So last year, our business model was, for example, you're my trainer. You have to follow all our rules, and it's basically you need to only use my product, and because I want to make sure you're representing my company, so I have to make sure that you're representing it right. However, I realized that is helpful. I'm able to help a lot of people, like give them the platform to become known, because most of our trainers were not trainers before. They were just an artist, and we kind of like gave them the platform and the modules on how to train. But it also cost a lot of drama for me. I started having trainers that left and started having their own businesses, and they saw me as a competition, and they would just like say, oh, her product is shit and she is this.
But was it like a franchisee, or how did it like
wasn't.
You just train them to be a trainer?
Yes.
So you have a different levels. You train people to work with clients, and you train people to be your trainers.
To be a trainer, that's correct.
And then they have to represent you. How about the money that they make from trainers?
Everything goes to them. They just have to buy the product from me.
Okay.
So they get like what we would call like a wholesale discount. Mm-hmm. They would just buy the product, and then everything they make out of their trainings, that's all. And we made sure out of the whole pie, where my company is the one that makes the least money. The trainers are the ones that makes the most money. And we want to make it that way, because if they're not making money, how are they gonna continue using our product, right? But this year we kind of changed our system, so now we don't have an exclusive contract anymore with our trainers. Like, you want to use our product, you want to be a trainer, we can give you a wholesale discount. And then we can help you promote, you can help us promote. It's like a kind of like we help each other. But
The collaboration.
But you're free to have your own business going on. Like, you can use other product, you're free to do whatever you want. Because I realize that is, when you're too close, it also leads to more expectations, and expectations leads to disappointment, right? So they would expect my company to be taking care of everything. I can't do that. Like, I also have other people to take care of. I also have other, my team, my expenses. So those are and to be honest, like right now, I've never been more at peace. It's hard when you...
It is hard, especially when you get attached to people, but you have to be a boss because you have certain regulations.
Correct.
And
Yeah. So that's why now what I do is I have people that does the kind of like the dirty work. They're like the ones that are strict, and I'm just like, hi. Because it's hard. It's hard for me to say like, no, you're not allowed to do that, or you're not allowed to do this. I just want to be the one that encourages.
Do you have the bad policeman for that?
Yeah.
Who does it?
I do. Yeah. I do. And it works. It works for me because I want to have that filter. I don't, because if it's me, it's kind of like more painful if I say like, hey, I'm seeing that you're using this, or you're not using the product correctly. So yeah, that works a little bit.
So tell, for those who maybe still don't know, what makes your product so unique and so different on the market?
We really make sure we build credibility in terms of, okay, so first of all, I will not say that our products are, the ultimate answer to everything. Like, we're a work in progress. We always try to innovate, and we always try to make ourselves better and our products better. Like, if you will look at NouConceal 5 years ago, it's completely different than where we are now. If you look at NouConceal 2 years ago, our products are completely different than our products now. So that's one thing that we really make sure of. We don't do the same thing every year. We innovate. Sometimes we would have people who would get angry at that, and they're like, oh, I just bought the pigments last year and now you have a new pigment line. But for me, if we stop innovating, then we're going to be 10 years from now. I take it upon myself as the innovator of the industry to always try to find something new, right? Always try to create something new. Because if not, how is our industry going to progress? And even though there will be times when people would copy, it's okay because we're already creating something better. And you're starting to copy, but we're already ahead. So that's one thing, we're always innovating. Second is we really try to build our credibility, not just in, not just in like making great products, but for example, last July, are you familiar with medical journals, publications? Basically, it's like research done by doctors, and then they publish it in a medical journal.
Okay.
And that's where all the doctors look for studies, like research, all of those things. So last July, there was a research done about our serum, and that was published in the European Journal of Medical Research last July. So those kind of things that we really want to make sure to prove.
Did you pay for this?
No, we don't.
So like they actually got interested in your product, and they...
So there's a process. So if you're gonna wait for people to do it for you, nobody's gonna do it for you. We have this doctor from Japan who was using our product, and he was very quiet for a while, but then he was like, oh my God, I'm getting great results with your product. And then he was like, I can do a study about this. And at the time, we weren't really working together, but now we kind of like had an agreement that we want to work together more. So he's part of our medical board. But at the time, he started working with us in 2020. He bought my product. He was one of our first ever clients. At the time, we only had the camouflage. So he kind of disappeared because he wasn't much into camouflage. But when I introduced my serum in 2022, he came back and he was like, I want to try your serum. So he bought the products again and he started using it. And that's when he was like, oh my God, this is great. So what he did, is he taught other doctors how to use the product. And from there, they made a survey from their clients. In order to publish something like this in a medical journal, you have to have an ethical committee. So the ethical committee so basically there's the doctors doing the research and there's an ethical committee. The ethical committee is third party. So they don't know the doctors, they don't know us, they're third party. Now that ethical committee will monitor what the doctors are doing, making sure that they're doing everything.
The process, oh my God.
Yeah. They're doing everything based on standards and ethically. And once everything is because they don't want
Yeah, of course, I totally understand why there is such a process.
Yeah.
But it sounds like so.
That's why I'm very proud that we got this, because it's a big deal. Like every time before, we would try to sell to doctors, and doctors would just be like, I need an article. And we don't have an article, but now we do. So that's why it's a big deal.
Who invented the formula of this unique serum?
Oh, it was by accident, actually.
That's interesting.
It is by accident. So I did not invent the English stretch mark revision. It started back in 2022. I had a trainer. I trained with her because I couldn't believe, really just with a serum you can fix stretch marks. What are you talking about? So I had to see it for myself. I took the training and I went back home to start doing the treatment, and I started getting great results. And I'm like, oh, this is incredible. The problem was it takes about 6 months sometimes to heal. 3 months to 6 months. You will have hyperpigmentation. Sometimes there's allergic reaction because the artists are just buying over-the-counter products. They would buy jojoba oil, essential oils, or hyaluronic acid, skincare, anything over-the-counter they will buy, mix them together, and just do the treatment. And that was causing a lot of issues. So at the time, I already have I've already made a little bit of money, and I already have the people that I know, that my chemists and things that formulated my pigments for me and whatnot. And so I asked my chemist, I have this treatment that I know works, but my problem is the healing time takes so long, and my clients get stressed out. What should I do? And then he asked me, what's in your serum? And I was like, I don't know what's in the serum because the trainer doesn't tell me, which I understand because obviously it's her proprietary product. So I can't force her to give it to me. And then he kind of smelled it and he was like, oh, this is essential oils or something. And he said, you're due to have really bad effect on this, really bad skin reaction. And I was like, oh my God, why? Because you're using over-the-counter products. If you're using over-the-counter products, it will burn the skin, or it will not. Over-the-counter products are used for topical use, right? We put it over the skin.
Yeah, not the inside.
Not in an open wound. And he said that you're bound to have really bad. You're lucky you haven't had that yet, but it's bound to happen. So I said, oh my God, I don't want to give up on this treatment because it's good. How can we change this? And he said, you need to use medical grade ingredients. And we were like, well, what will work for stretch marks? We had no idea. And so my chemist was like, let me formulate something for you, but it will be medical grade ingredients, meaning it's safe to penetrate an open wound. You're not going to have any negative reaction. I don't know if it's going to work. We have to try, but you will know it's safe. And our first version, oh my God. If before I needed about 3 to 6 months wait to heal, guess how long it took for my first model to heal?
Shock me.
3 days. 3 days.
But it was just the different skin type, or it was just literally the
It's literally the product. And that's my first ever model. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen to everybody. Some people may need more treatments. Some people may need...
But yeah, of course.
The longest,
different cases.
Yeah, different cases. But the longest we've had is 6 weeks so far. But it's still, that gave me hope. I was like, oh my goodness, this is incredible. And from then, every year we just keep on improving. And now we have this new product that I'm extremely happy and proud of. It's a hair growth treatment. So we kind of just experimented on it. And I kid you not, I can show you all the before and after pictures. In 3 weeks' time, the hair growth increased 30 to 50%. In 3 weeks' time, one treatment.
So is it for mesotherapy?
It's you can do microneedling with, yeah.
And you have something for the face as well?
We do have something for the face. The doctor that I mentioned earlier, now he's also working on the face area. Now he's our medical director because he's lived the product. He believes in the product now. And now he's working on case studies for the face, like acne scars, wrinkles. I actually just fixed my fine line in my forehead a couple of months ago. I haven't been able to do it again, but the first time I did it, I was like, what the heck is this sorcery? Yeah,
Wow.
it's pretty cool. But it's not me. It's not me who does this. It's my team of doctors and chemists who's really incredible behind the scenes.
Yeah, but you basically started.
Yeah.
You push them. You give them the task.
The idea. Yeah.
And okay, so we finished on the wall color fixing thing. So what did you do? How did you find the similar thing for the skin, or like how? Because my biggest concern why I don't go into paramedical and scar camouflaging, first of all, because I just have no idea how to pick the right pigment blend so when it heals, it would match the skin. And then what happens when like they go tanning and stuff? Like, I have so many concerns.
Yeah.
I'm not like ready, but your technique and your product, they like seem to be super easy to comprehend. Like,
Yeah. Well, first of all, we have the color matching device. So, like, I wish you can visit our booth and we can show you, but it's
Tell it for people. I can visit it.
Yeah.
And actually, I did check it already in LA last year. But you tell people how it works.
So we have a device, and that device you put on the client's skin, and then it's connected to our app. And in one tap of the device, it reads the color value, the LAB color space, and then it sends that number, the color value to the app. And then the app, using our AI algorithm, it calculates what is the pigment that you have to use.
So basically, it gives you the idea, okay, 3 drops of this.
Correct.
And you have your palette.
Correct.
It works only with your palette.
We have our pigments, yeah. We're my partner's goal is to eventually have like other pigment lines, other brands in it. We just have so many other things that we have to prioritize at this moment, but eventually we want to make it more open source for everybody. So if anybody is not happy with their pigment, maybe they want more colors or whatever, maybe they want permanent pigments, then they have more options, and that's what we're gonna be working on maybe in the near future.
Where do you do the production of all of this?
All our pigments are made in Switzerland. I was gonna say New Zealand. I always get confused with the New Zealand and Switzerland because they kind of like and also our pigments are REACH compliant. So we this is our third batch of pigment. Our first batch, that's the one I was using in Asia before. And then I created another batch with 20 colors. But this time, we created another batch. And I would say we listened to all the feedback of people that we got, like from our old pigment line and the pigment lines from all the other brands. And we tried to consolidate all those feedback and create something even better than what we've created before. So now what we did with our pigment is we mixed sort of like our medical grade serum with our pigment, because we're working on a traumatized skin, right? We're working on camouflage, or we're working on skin traumatized, like scar tissue. So if you just implant pigment there, sometimes it's not going to be as good because you have to fix the skin first. So what we did is we mix it with our medical grade skincare, so that when the implantation, the retention is so much better, implantation is better. It also balances the pH balance of the skin, so that when you implant the pigment, over time, you have less risk of oxidation. Because I would admit that's like one of the biggest problems in our industry. I'm not sure if in permanent makeup you still have that warm and cooling.
Yeah. Pigments, depths, like skin type, everything. It depends, and how it fades in time, and how fast.
Yeah.
So what happens with the scar camouflage, and within like in 2-3 years, it just like fades?
It fades away. Yeah. So when it's very common knowledge. I mean, common myth to say that, oh, we're gonna have like zebra zebra pigments, but the thing is, stretch marks and scars do not tan. So if you go tanning and your stretch marks are not camouflage, it will become more visible. But if you tan and you already have the camouflage on, even though the pigment doesn't change in color, because the original base is darker, it will become less visible when you tan. Now, when you lose the tan, it will just blend back in because it didn't tan in the first place.
Are we just talking about your pigments, or we're talking in the regular pigmentation of scarring?
Oh, in
Regular basis.
in a regular basis, yeah. In general.
In general. How much does this set of your like system, the color identifier and the pigments and the serum cost? Like,
Yeah.
give us some numbers.
So
please.
we try to really make it work for any level of artists, because sometimes you have complete beginners that they don't have a lot of budget, they're just starting. But we also have artists who are already experts or advanced, and they just want to have like the complete kit. So it depends on what they want. So we have like a starter kit. If they just want to do the revision, meaning the serums, it starts at 1,700. But if they want to do, we have a kit. We have a small kit that's 3,500. We have the more of like the advanced kit, which is like it's 4,500. We also have an in-person training. We also have our mentorship. By the way, I'm actually launching my course for mindset next month. So everything that I told you, I'm gonna go deep dive into like how can you really use the power of your mind to really change your
So
life.
if you want to learn how to grow your business to 8 figures now in only 3 years,
Well,
the
5.
course. Well, in 2020, okay,
But we really exploded on 2023.
And this is probably when I first met you at the World's Conference in Orlando. You've been there.
You know what? Yes. Yeah.
And I was like, what? At first I was like talking with someone and then you were on stage and I'm like, what? What is she talking? What? And I was like, no way. This is like, it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But then I was like, really, it's absolutely unique.
Thank you.
How do you see the industry, perma makeup industry or paramedical tattooing in nearest 5 years?
I actually asked my mentor ChatGPT. I asked my mentor ChatGPT what is the market value of paramedical tattooing, and right now we're at 500 million in value, and it's projected to reach 800 million in the next 5 years. And back in like 5 years ago, there were only very, very few people doing paramedical. But now,
it looks like more and more perma makeup artists are like
it's exploding.
thanking to you as well.
Thank you. We're trying our best.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really exploding right now, and I can just really see, like, even in the conference today, people come to our booth and they're like, "Oh, I'm already using your product. Oh, I'm already a paramedical tattoo artist." So it's really exploding, but it's still in the beginning stage. So if anybody's looking for, to get into the permanent makeup industry, but they feel like, there's a lot of competition in permanent makeup, right? And brows and lips. There's so many incredible artists. So if our listeners are like looking for something that they can really stand out from and hopefully become a trainer one day,
It's a good chance to jump in. So this is amazing that you are launching this course about like motivation and how to reach your goals, because you've been through that. Yeah. And I'm sure that it will help many people. And even me today, I found out a lot of things I will like work on and think about it, because before I was just like, oh, it's a bullshit. Like it's impossible. But now seeing you and literally saying, because all these people, I don't know them, but I know you. And I know your story. When from the bottom, you got to the very top. Okay, what exactly steps, like step-by-step instruction to those who are just a beginner in the PMU? How do they stand out in this crazy competition now? How do they even try to manage to get more clients and, build their career from basically bottom?
So first of all, you need to really master your craft. So you can make a lot of noise, do a lot of marketing, but if you are not good with what you do, you're not going to go far. Maybe you'll get one client and then they're not going to come back, right? That's the first one. And you do that by having really good training, making sure that you are surrounded with good people in your community. You have that community, and practicing. Like sometimes people would take the course and then they feel like they're already masters and they would train in like 1 year time, so you have to master your craft, get a lot of experience. Second, no marketing. No matter how good you are in your craft, if nobody knows about
Like
you,
two sides.
yes, correct. They really go hand in hand. You have to have the skill and you have to really work on your marketing.
Which cannot work without each other.
One cannot work without each other. It's like the yin and yang, you know, they really are partners. So I think that's one of the most common problem that most new permanent makeup artists commit, is that they think with the training, everything's going to be fine. So no, it's not an overnight thing. If you're going to invest in yourself, on your skill, you better invest in yourself and your marketing too. Those really go hand in hand. So next is, you have to be surrounded by like-minded people, because it's so easy to just be on your own in this industry. But if you're always walking by yourself, you don't know, sometimes you go through a lot of struggles, right? You don't know if this is normal. Is this really supposed to be peak season or lean season? And you can do that by attending conferences, you know, like PMU World right now. It's incredible. You really get to meet a lot of people. Or you can join Facebook groups where you can learn from other people.
That's why we are making PMU Space community.
I was gonna get there. I was gonna go there. Or you can be a part of this community where you can learn and listen to podcasts like this. It's honestly, I've been telling you ladies, you're doing such an incredible job doing this, because I don't know if there's anything like this in our industry, and this is very valuable. You know, like but as an artist, if you're just driving on your way to work, you don't have a lot of time to read or to study, this is a perfect opportunity for you to just play that recording, play that audio, what's it called, podcast, play that podcast while you're driving to work and listen, because it will really
and get motivated.
Yeah, and learn from other artists or other masters that have done it and have gained success. And most especially, always find a mentor. It doesn't have to be a mentor that will actually really speak with you in a daily basis, but it can be someone who is living the life that you want, and just, you don't have to talk to them, but just watch them, learn them, study them, like
feel them.
Like, what are they doing that, like, you meet somebody, you saw somebody online that their life is like your perfect life. Dissect what they're doing. Study them. Like, if they're in a podcast, listen to that podcast. How did they get from where they are to where they want to be? That's why this podcast is amazing. Like, you asked me, like, okay, what are the step by step? How you were struggling?
Because it's super valuable to learn this from people that are already on the top, but we all start at the same level.
Exactly.
Nobody's born with the tattoo machine in the hand, you know? So,
exactly.
And we all go through struggles. And by the way, what was your biggest struggle? What was your biggest challenging moment, or like in the industry, in your PMU career, or in this industry?
You know, I've been very, very blessed that since we launched my business, it really just every year is like, it goes higher and higher and higher and higher. And I'm very grateful for that. But one of the things that I really struggled with is the mentality in the industry. And as much as I love our industry and everybody are mostly kind and nice, the moment that you get to a higher level, the more that you're going to have haters too. And the more that you have haters, the more people are going to talk bad about you, and they're going to try to pull you down, because they want what you have.
It's hard to believe that you have haters if you're talking about yourself now.
Oh, I have a lot of haters.
Really?
And sometimes, the most painful thing is like when you have friends in the industry that you really treat them like your friend, and then you would hear them talk very bad about you or your company, just because at the end of the day, they're still your competition. And that's that's the most painful thing. It just happened today to me. So it's crazy that you're asking me this question. I have a very good friend in the industry too, and I just found out that she
was talking behind your back.
Yeah, and it's painful to see those things. But I try to come from a state of compassion where I'm like, it's okay, I understand. But they're like, this morning before I got here, like literally on my way here, I was asking myself, like, oh my God, I never talk bad about other people, but other people always talk bad about me, like.
I personally never heard anybody talking bad about you. Like, I will be honest.
Appreciate
and
that.
that's why
mostly competition. And sometimes
is it like one of your competitors?
Well, mostly and usually, like, I would say 90% of the time it's really competition. But like, I was asking myself, like, and then sometimes it really it really affects me psychologically, especially if I know the person and I'm kind of that person. And then I would hear like, oh, this person said this in front of a lot of people. And that really hurts me because I'm like, I've been so loyal to this person.
Like, did she say it on stage?
I'm not gonna say anything, but it's
Tell us more.
I'm not just like on stage. But sometimes I would have like
In a company.
people like last year I had some of my previous people that used to work with me, and then they would build their own brands, and they would talk. They would say like, oh, her products are shit and this and that, excuse my French, but then, this, my product is better. But sometimes I'm like, for me, because I would say that I have like a better knowledge of the world, or like bigger knowledge of the world. I always tell myself, if I hear somebody talk bad about other people, that person, I have to be very careful because that person will talk bad about me, right? However, not everybody thinks that way. Most people think like they hear somebody say, oh, that person is this and that, or that product is this and that, and they believe it immediately. They don't want to get to know the other side of the story first. And it's sad, but then I would sometimes, you have an angel flying
Here
around.
she comes. Get away.
Yeah.
Bitch.
It's not going anywhere. It's like a halo, actually.
Sorry.
But yeah, I'm just like, sometimes people are just, it's just their way of just competing, which is unhealthy. And sometimes I just tell myself, like, I ask myself, like, do I have to be like them? Do I have to also like kind of like
Talk back
and like say like, no, that's not true. Like, why don't you, like, their product is this? That's not who I am. So I guess that's really my biggest difficulty in the industry. Like, it's really cutthroat. Like, the higher the level you get into, the more people are gonna want to tear you down and pull you. Like, before I used to be the kind of person who like really like talks about my accomplishments and this and that, but now I'm really trying to kind of like tone down a bit and not talk too much about what's going on with my life, because it really attracts a lot of jealousy and a lot of negativity. And as much as our industry is amazing when it comes to like people like you girls, like, you're welcoming and kind, but there are also other people who will really try to tear you down. And sometimes that's my biggest challenge in the industry. I if only the world can just be like, let's support one another. I give you a client, I talk highly of you, and you talk highly of me. This world would be a different world, I think.
Well, this is the side effect of being popular and successful, So just put that screen in front of you, and
I'm learning.
Don't care about it.
Learning. Sometimes sometimes I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, you have to be a bitch. I want you to be a bitch.
A little bit. In some cases, why not?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I'm really not like that. I would just rather people to get to know me, and then when they get to know me, they're like, oh, this person said this, and I'm like, but it's not very common. Only this is like an insider thing that I'm sharing with you. Only not a lot of people knows about this, but it just so happened that it happened recently.
Who actually? Do you have a company that is like your biggest competitor on the market?
There are a lot. I wouldn't. There's a couple in our industry, but I would say honestly, I don't see anybody from our industry like a competitor. Not because there's no one as good as me. I won't say that. That everybody is like offering their own thing. Everybody has their own thing going on.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Nobody's that good as you.
No, but I would say I don't look at anybody from PMU as a competition, because I think everybody in the industry are trying their best to really, do something good for the industry, which is incredible. I would look at competition as laser treatments, like all those other procedures that are not in our industry. Those are, I think, are competition.
Do you have somebody who is monitoring the market to like give you alerts? Oh, we have new brand that is like trying to copy us or trying to catch us up or like stepping on our, heels.
So last year I never follow competition. This is how I protect my peace of mind. I never, if it's like, especially in social media, if it's something that is ruining my energy, if it makes me feel insecure, if it makes me feel jealous, if it makes me feel anything that's negative, I don't follow them. that is because I don't want to feel, it's human nature to feel like, see somebody, not just in our industry, but like in life. Like maybe there's an influencer that's living your life or maybe you have a friend that's like living your life. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say that I'm never insecure, I'm never jealous with people, but that's how wait, what was the question? I forgot. I'm so sorry. I just keep talking. What?
It's okay. Don't worry. I forgot the question as well. Okay. I have my favorite question. If you would have to start over, what would you do differently?
Oh, that's a tough question. I always really, this is going to be a beauty queen answer because I always wanted to be a beauty queen. Just kidding. And this is going to be a cliche, but I don't think I would change anything, to be honest, because like even I was born poor, I was born to poverty, but that molded me to the person that I am today. I had people that teared me down, but it made me stronger. I had friends that betrayed me, but now, like even today, even though I got a little bit affected, it wasn't as painful as how it would be last year. Now it's just like, oh, that happened. I'm sad, but you know what? I understand. So it's really, I call these situations my emotional trainers, and everything that happens into my life just makes me better and better and handle myself, my emotions, and my mindset better. So I don't think I will change anything. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, to wrap it all up, we have an interesting game for you where I need you to be extremely honest. Okay, it's a have you ever questions.
Oh, you know what? I have a little story about this. So back in college, I have this play that I played the lead role for, and it's called the 25 questions. So kind of like similar to like have you ever and this and that. It just reminded me of that.
And you cannot fake. You have to be honest.
I'll be honest. I'm gonna try.
Okay. Have you ever made a big mistake during the procedure?
When I was starting, oh my goodness,
Tell
yes.
us about it, because we all make mistakes and we want to know that those people that are on the top, they also did it.
Oh my goodness, so, especially in permanent makeup in brows, because we all start from somewhere, right? And I remember
From zero,
yeah. I remember I had this client that I tried to do like an ombre brows, and one brow is like higher than the other. And then I also had this client that I did the lips, and I was not.
Did she notice that? Like she wanted a refund? She made like a drama or no? Or you just saw that and you were like, oh.
This client is like a little bit like. But the thing is, this client has a very tough brows because her original brows, she has a little bit of hair and they're really not even. So I was like, and I was a new artist, so I was like, do I follow the natural hair or do I create a new one? But she has existing hair, so I'm like, so I told her like I want to make it natural based on what you have. But then it ended up, it emphasized it's not even. So she got a little mad. And then she came back and she's like, you have to fix this. You have to fix this. So I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to fix that. I don't remember what I did, but I think I managed to calm her down and she just disappeared. Maybe she just went somewhere else and cursed me. But yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't know if this is for me.
Have you ever done a refund?
I've done multiple times a refund. I always tell myself this: if I have a client that's not happy, and I know that they're going to just be stressed, they're going to get stressed out and I'm going to get stressed out, my energy is more important to me than the money. The money, I can always make that back. But that person talking shit about me behind my back, that will multiply. So first of all, I'm going to try to make that client happy in all ways possible. If the refund is really what she wants, then we're just going to make it happen because we don't want anybody talking negatively behind us.
Have you ever cried after the client session?
I cried during a session. When I had this client, she had scars in her legs. I think she's in her 60s or late 50s. She had scars all over her legs. And she came to me and said, I've never worn shorts ever in my life. Since she was a teenager. She's married. She's never wear, even at home, she doesn't wear shorts because she has all these white patches in her legs. And she said she's very, very insecure about it. And and I was like, wait a minute, you've never worn shorts at home? You have a husband? Yeah, I have grandchildren. how do you do at night with your husband? So we were just laughing about it. But then she was like, well, lights off all the time. I was like, oh, that's crazy. But anyway, kidding aside. So she said, when she was telling me the story, and she said, like, whenever my family would go to the beach, or if there's any outdoor activities, I cannot go. And I always tell them I'm feeling bad or I'm feeling sick. That's why, so I wouldn't go. So either my family would go without me, or they will not go at all. And it has really hindered my relationship with my husband, my relationship with my children, my grandchildren.
Was it really that bad, or she was just like
It wasn't that bad. But
she was just like in her
it's
head.
in her head, yeah. And then I did a camouflage on her, and we managed to fix it. And the reason why she decided to do it is because she was telling me she was in the restroom, she was in the toilet taking a shower. And she got out of the shower and she's wearing this towel. And she waits until like there's nobody there, but she was wearing the towel. Her granddaughter saw her and asked her like, oh, grandma, what are those in your legs? And that made her feel really, really, really insecure.
Have you ever felt underestimated by others in the industry?
Oh yeah, especially in the beginning. And then people look at you and you're like, oh, she's nobody. And then once I started making my name, now I'm like, oh, she's the enemy. Enemy number one. So yeah, I
How do you react to that? Like getting upset?
You just stay quiet and stay
neutral.
in your lane. Yeah, and just
do your job.
Do your job, yeah.
Have you ever been jealous to someone's success in the PMU industry?
Of course. And I think it's completely normal to feel that way. I feel insecure. I feel jealous. And there's nothing wrong about that. What makes it wrong is when you let it consume you, and then you start talking bad about those people. Like right now, whenever I feel insecure, whenever I feel jealous, I really take my time to like sit down and pray to take that feeling away from me, because I know it's not good for me. Yeah, and it helps.
Have you ever regretted saying yes to a project?
I believe I believe I have, but I can't think of anything at the top of my head right now, because I learned from all of those projects. So, actually I do. So I have this project that I spent $100,000 on, and then we launched it and it flapped. And then I lost more money. I think I lost maybe 200K on this project. And then that's when me and my partner were like, you know what? Next time we have to cut our losses and realize if it's not for us, it's not for us. Yeah. Mistakes can be expensive.
Yeah. But as long as we learn the lesson,
yeah,
it actually can boost us.
Yeah. But sometimes, you just gotta learn from it and make sure you don't make the same mistake.
Bianca, thank you so much for this precious talk and sharing your really sacred story and about your ups and downs and how you dealt with so many challenges in your life. And the most important, it's super motivational to know that somebody from really poor state could go to an 8-figure business in such a short time. So it gives this hope for other artists, other people, that is possible. You just have to work on your mindset.
Yes, work on yourself. Really, it's important.
It's really thank you so much for spending time with us, for sharing. And I was really, really happy to see you here.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And to our PMU Space community, let this be your reminder that every top artist faced challenges before reaching their shine. Whether you're just starting or pushing to the next level, keep moving forward. Stay tuned for more inspiring conversations with the leaders of the PMU industry. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep going.